just dump the sand behind the dam and keep trying to keep it plugged up so it would generate power. You notice here, no water is spilling over the top of the dam, and you saw in those previous photographs how some water spilled over the top of the current dam, the water spills over the top of it. During low flows, 100% of the river flowed through the forebay to the powerhouse facility. And here's a good photo of that. You can see all the sand they trucked in to basically try to plug up the holes and keep that dam from leaking so bad. So as I noted, this replaced Medford steam generation power generator in 1904. It also provided the first power to the cities of Gold Hill, Central Point, and Jacksonville. Prior to this dam, those facilities didn't have electrical power, and this dam was the facility that provided power to those facilities. The Condor Water Power Company continued to grow. In 1907, they restructured and called themselves the Rogue River Power Company. Then in 1912, in Southern Oregon and Northern California, there was a whole group of small power companies similar to, at this time, what we call the Rogue River Power Company, that were generating power. A whole bunch of small companies, a lot of them over in the Klamath area. There was a power company up in Prospect. There's a whole series of those around the valley and Northern California. And in 1912, many of you are probably familiar with COPCO. 1912, COPCO was formed where basically all these small power companies came together and formed the California-Oregon Power Company, which remained in place for 50 years before in 1961 Pacific Power and Light, they merged with Pacific Power and Light. As I noted, if you read the literature throughout the history of the Log Crib Dam, they fought leaks in that dam like crazy, and many, many times they designed replacements for the dam. They looked at, let's put a new concrete dam. Now, in 1941, COPCO at that time finally decided to go ahead and replace the dam with a concrete structure. And this shows some of the photographs of the early construction of the dam. What they're doing, here's the timber crib dam here. They're starting to blast in a keyway to key the dam into the bedrock located on the bottom of the river. And just the whole series of slides here, they'll show the construction of the dam. The type of dam is what's called a slab and buttress dam. And basically what it is, the dam is amazingly simple. You think it's a gigantic concrete structure that's all solid, and it's actually not. The dam is hollow. You can walk up underneath that dam. And I'll show a picture of it. Basically what you have is you have these buttresses, which are just large triangles, more or less, that are vertical, and then they laid a slab concrete on top of it. And the dam is only about 14 inches thick at the top and about 24 inches thick at the bottom. So this is the starting, they're forming up the buttresses that hold up the slabs. And here's one of the engineering plans for it. So they keyed it in bedrock. It's about 24 inches wide there and about 14 inches thick there. And this is the side below the buttresses, but between those buttresses you can actually walk up underneath the dam if you can tolerate under the water. So just more photos showing the buttresses as they're starting to form those up, and they pour the concrete to do those. And they're just continuing to work on there, and then you can see the first stages of one of the slabs being constructed on the dam. By this time they have replaced the fish ladder. The fish ladder is part of the concrete dam project, and that is the same fish ladder that we have out there today. And here's a good photo showing the slab design. So here's the slabs, and there's those upright, like I said, little triangle buttresses that hold up those slabs. And it's not much of a dam. It's if the county chooses to remove the dam and they proceed with dam removal, they're estimating about 2,000 yards of concrete is all that's in that dam. That is an amazing small amount of material for a structure that big. It's fairly thin, and there's just not that much to it. Of all the historic photos, this is clearly my favorite. So they completed the concrete dam. It's done. Fish ladder's in place, and they're removing all the forms, and they're tearing everything out to just use the concrete dam. Well, the timber crib dam is forming, they're serving no useful purpose any longer. So all they did is they dumped a whole bunch of diesel on it and lit it on fire. And it had been underwater, for close to 40 years. It didn't burn real well, and we've shown that and found that most of that timber crib dam is still all in place and still exists there. But They gave it a good try and dump some diesel on it and set it on fire and see what you can get from that. So that's a little bit on the history of the dam and kind of where we've been. And so where are we at today? The dam was donated to Jackson County in 1972. Pacific Power was not able to make an economical use of that dam. It's costing them more money than it was generating revenue for them. And so they started really struggling with the late 60s, early 70s. And by 1972, they decided they did not want that dam any longer and were looking to unload that dam. And so they donated it to Jackson County in 1972. What the county received was 29 acres around the dam itself, and then the dam, the powerhouse, and all the associated structures that came with it. Since that time, the county's continued to acquire property behind the dam, and we currently own nearly 280 acres behind the dam as well. Originally, the county planned on recreational uses. Our original plan for the project was to develop this area as a recreational area for boating, fishing, and everything else. Develop it as a true county park really hasn't happened. There are recreational uses out there. People use it. Probably the most popular thing out there is simply boating and bass fishing. It's a fairly popular bass fishery for some folks. But as far as a real developed county park, it really never has developed. And one of the challenges is this is a difficult area to make safe. And that's probably one of the biggest challenges the county has. It's been difficult to make this area safe. There's a lot of liabilities and risk associated with going over the dam, falling off the retaining walls, and everything else. So it's probably one of the biggest impediments to developing that thing fully. And then the Department of Fish and Wildlife has been operating a fish counting station there for over 40 years. Let's just go through some of the current conditions on what this site looks like today and what we have out there on site. This is about the time that we received the dam from Pacific Power. So you have the concrete dam. The timber trim dam is still underneath there, and I'll show a photo in a minute. There's two fish ladders. There's the primary fish ladder located here. And then there's a secondary fish ladder, so the older fish ladder that is not currently in use, but it could be used if necessary. We have the power facility, the retaining walls, the head gates, and then again the forebay and the tail race. This is the picture of the old Gentleman's Club, or what was the old Gentleman's Club. That was torn down. I'm not sure when. It was replaced by two residents. Both those residents are gone now, and so all you have up in this area now is a foundation. That's all that exists. As I mentioned, we own 280 acres. This area here is almost 500 acres behind the dam, and this is owned by, well, most of it's owned by us, and a large majority, the rest of it is owned by the Department of Fish and Wildlife. And so this large area behind the dam is an area of a lot of concern. A lot of people refer to this as the wetlands, and what would happen to that, and how would that be impacted if we did proceed with dam removal. And so I'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. The current facility has not been maintained. We've kept it secure for the most part, and fenced off, trying to keep people out of it. But there's really been essentially no maintenance done to this facility since the county received it in 1972, and it is definitely showing that. It is showing a lot of age and a lot of deterioration. And the old powerhouse facility, the floors are pretty, they're buckling and in pretty poor shape. The roof is in timbers that hold the building up are in incredibly good shape, but the floor is in pretty poor shape. A lot of people break into the facility. A lot of the copper's been stolen out of it. There's been a fair amount of vandalism on site. The current view of what the interior of the facility does look like. Those are the generators that were placed in there in 1941 when the concrete dam was reconstructed, and a switching station for the power. That previous photo that I showed, which had the large pulleys on top inside the powerhouse. Those are large pulleys, so the ropes go straight down from here underneath onto the turbines. And those are just, I think, to prevent water from slinging all over the powerhouse.